Oh, oh, that's so good. Wow, that looks so smooth. Ah, yes, yes, that looks really, really good. Okay, loving. Look at that. Look at my eyes. I don't even have one mascara. Oh, that's so pretty. Yes, gorgeous. Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I'm kind of feeling myself. I'm not even gonna lie. All foundations need to have that nowadays. Like, what's up, you guys? Welcome back to Glamour and Glow. My name is Ashley Gray, and I am a professional makeup artist of 13 years. And today, I'm going to be taking you step by step how to do a latte makeup look. That is what you see here on my lovely face. And the key product that we'll be featuring in this entire look today is the Dior Face and Body Backstage Foundation. It is absolutely incredible. It's one of my favorites. I have 8 of them in my kit, and I cannot wait to show you and explain to you all the reasons why I love it and I use it on a regular basis. So if you want to jump right into it, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so let's get into it. I've already started by prepping my skin off camera, and I prepped my skin with, obviously I cleansed it, but with a little bit of toner and moisturizer, some sunscreen, and a little bit of eye cream. So now that my skin is prepped, we can go ahead and begin the process of working out this latte makeup look. And the first thing I'm gonna do is focus on my complexion. So I'm gonna start with concealing, covering my blemishes, highlighting, contouring, and laying down the foundation with this amazing Dior Face and Body Foundation. It's one of my absolute favorites. So let's go ahead and get into it so I can show y'all how it goes. First thing that I like to do is I like to color correct my skin. I have a few little like discoloration, places on my face. I've got some breakouts right here. I've got some dark circles and whatnot. So I just like to use a little bit of orange color corrector to go on these places to just neutralize this coloration before I go in with any sort of complexion product. I'm just going to use a little brush. Sometimes I use a sponge, but lately I've just been really loving the way a brush looks. You don't need a lot on a balance out area. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with a little bit of concealer, and I'm actually going to underpaint. Underpainting is just basically when you lay down your concealer before you lay down your foundation. A lot of times makeup artists nowadays like to do their makeup where they do their foundation first and then they add on their concealer and their highlighter and their contour. But lately I've been really loving doing underpainting. So I'm going to go in with a complexion shade that is about 2 to 3 shades brighter than I normally would if I were to use a regular concealer. So that way, when I lay my foundation on top, you get a natural brightness that comes through, but it's not overpowering. So this one is by Fenty, and it is a shade 290, like that. On camera, it may not appear as bright, but in person, it's pretty bright. But I love it for my high points of my face. Because this concealer is full coverage, I don't have to go in with as much foundation because the concealer is going to be kind of doing all of the work. And I like to let my concealer dry down a little bit before I blend it out. That just helps me get the full maximum coverage that the concealer is made for, as well as makes it so that I won't have to set it with as much powder. It's just best to let it dry just for a few seconds, and you can use a fan, you can fan with your hands, but I just like to let it dry down a little bit before I blend it out. And while that's doing that, I'm going to work on my brows. I really, really love this brow pencil. It's by Maybelline, and I keep these stocked in my kit. One, the price point, you just can't beat it. I used to keep Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz in my makeup kit, and even for myself, because they are pretty spectacular pencils, but this is a really great dupe for it. The Maybelline New York Express Brow Ultra Slim Pencil. The colors are pretty amazing. They have a really good variety of shades that match most people's brow hair very, very well. And they're no more than about $10 to $11 each. Comparable to Anastasia, who charges about $22 each. So you kind of get like 2 for the price of one of hers. So I really do love that this is very affordable, and they last a long time too. And they've got a lot of shades to choose from. This particular pencil, I can use more than one shade. Okay, so now I'm ready to blend out my concealer. I'm going to use this brush right here by IT Cosmetics. It is their Airbrush smoothing foundation brush, but I really, really love it for concealer. It blends really, really nicely and is small enough to get into these little nooks and crannies that I needed to. So this is the brush that I'm going to use to blend out my concealer. And I like this brush because, one, it just provides a very beautiful airbrush effect. It's very gentle on the skin. It doesn't do a lot of tugging. But you see how bright that is? That's why I like to go in with one that's a little bit brighter. Now I'm just kind of tapping this concealer in place. I'm not really like spreading it. I'm just kind of buffing it. Now I know I may look a little crazy right now, but just trust it. Once I put the foundation on and the contour and I set everything, it's gonna be gorgeous. Nice and bright, like I like it. I'm gonna go on with just a little bit more right under my eye. And I'm gonna go in with one that matches more to my complexion or my blemish. Same brush. That was the Dior concealer, which I also love on a day-to-day basis. That is concealed quite perfectly to me. Okay, and so next we're gonna go in with a little bit of a contouring stick by Makeup by Mario. I really actually love this stick. It's a little messy, so don't judge it, but this is the Soft Sculpt Shaping Stick, and it's in shade medium dark. I really, really love this. They blend down so beautifully. They have a really great range of shades as well, but it just looks very natural on my skin. So we're gonna go in with a little bit of this, and the brush I'm using is some little off-brand brush. But I'm just gonna go in and sculpt my cheeks slightly. And this is why I love underpainting, because you see that now my natural contour is already beginning to kind of poke out. So I really don't have to go in with much, but because the style of the Latte makeup look has more of a warm, bronzed, neutral, like milky brown tones, I want to really play up my cheeks in this look because there is no blush. There's just bronzer. And so I'm going to go with this to really amplify that a bit more. And I'm just using it on hollow points of my chin. Of my cheek. Cheek chin is it's easy to get that kind of confused. To really get that beautiful sculpted look. The other side. And you see I'm still doing the same type of motion that I did to blend the Fenty concealer. I'm going to go a little bit of this also on the forehead because we want the forehead to look sun-kissed. So you blend it all the way back into your hairline. And here I'm going in more of a swirling motion just to get a really nice buffed airbrushed effect to really truly melt it into my skin. Beautiful. Okay, and next we're going to do the jawline. I love contouring my chin and my jawline because it gives the illusion that you don't have a double chin, number one. And two, it just really chisels it out and makes it look very, very, very pronounced, which I love. I love a sharp jawline. I'm just going to take the remaining that's on the brush and I'm going to blend that into the sides of my nose. So that way I'll have a slightly contoured nose, but not too harshly. Everyone's nose is different. I like my nose to be a bit contoured, but not too much. See, that's just enough for me. I don't need too much. I can always add more after I apply my foundation. Next thing we're going to do to create the ultimate base for our Latte makeup look with our eyes also is to go in with the same sculpting stick, a brush for my eyes. And I'm going to take a little bit of this cream sculpting stick to lay as a primer or a base for the eyeshadow look. I could have just gone straight in with eyeshadow on its own, but I just feel as though using a primer that matches the tone of what you're going to use just helps to amplify it, make it look a bit more pigmented. And I think that that's the key to this Latte makeup look, is making sure that the browns really pop off the skin. So I'm just going to use a little bit. I don't have much on my brush. And I'm just going to lay this down as a primer and kind of warm my eyes with it. And it also kind of helps you cut back on some of the time as well. This sculpting stick dries down in like a powder texture or form. So I really won't have to lay eyeshadow down on top if I don't want to. But I obviously am going to for the sake of this video. And you can use any cream stick that you may have, or cream foundation, or if you even have like just some sort of like warm bronzy concealer that you like to use, whatever you may use for contour, you can use that to help to act as your primer. And I like this brush because it's very forgiving. Couple swipes and it's done. And that brush was by Morphe, the M173 brush. And then I want to go in under my eyes as well, because the Latte makeup looks that I personally love have a somewhat reverse smoky eye, which is when you have a lot of smoke underneath the lash line. So I'm going to go in with another, this brush is by Joss the Boss, and she is another makeup artist that I love out in New York City. So this one is just like a pointer pencil brush. You can use any pointer pencil brush from any brands. And I'm just going to use a little bit of the cream stick as well to go up underneath the lash line to help to blend and connect the eye. This step you can skip if you like. You can always just do this towards the end with regular shadow. But I just personally want to make sure I'm layering it as many times as I can to get a very, very, very pigmented. See how that kind of carved my eyes out a bit more? Gave them a bit more definition and a bit more shape. And this is also a really great trick for if you tend to crease underneath your eyes. Word of thumb, concealer creases on everyone. It's just the anatomy of the way that our eyes are shaped. And for me personally, I have quite a bit of creasing that happens sometimes, but I'll show you how to set it so that it doesn't crease as bad. But it is a normal thing for your concealer to crease sometimes. Okay, so next I'm gonna go in and it's time for foundation. Now this foundation, as I mentioned earlier, is one of my favorites. The Dior Face and Body Foundation. It's pretty one of a kind. It's so beautiful. They never had a formula like this. The only face and body foundations that I knew of when I was first starting out doing makeup was by MAC. And I remember at one point Makeup Forever came out with one as well. But Dior has launched one and it's absolutely incredible. This foundation has hyaluronic acid in it as well as squalane. And those are two ingredients that I incorporate into my skincare routine every single day, twice a day. They're extremely beneficial for the skin. Hyaluronic acid plumps the skin. It adds hydration to the skin. And it really, really makes your skin look nice and juicy and just healthy. And squalane is really, really good for calming redness, irritation, hyperpigmentation, so many things. So I love the fact that Dior likes to incorporate skincare ingredients into their formulas, because nowadays you don't want to risk your face breaking out from a product that you're using, especially now that technology and makeup formulation and innovation has improved so much. It would be kind of like a shame not to. And I love that Dior has that consistently through all of their foundation formulas. So this one is no different. The coverage on it is really beautiful. It's buildable from medium to full coverage. And I like to use it as a medium coverage. For myself, on my clients, I like to build it up to full coverage. And that's just a personal take, because when I'm working on clients, it depends on what their skin needs. But when I'm working on my clients, most times I go for a more full coverage look. That's because I want the look to last and have longevity. Our skin can eat up makeup throughout the day, so you may have to touch it up from time to time. But when you're able to use full coverage products or something that's buildable, you have a bit more flexibility. And that is one of the main reasons why I love this product. So this one is the shade 4 Warm Olive. They have really great undertones. And I kind of sometimes, depending on the weather, am in between these two shades. So this one is 4.5 Warm. And you see the difference between the two of them. They're quite, they're in the same number category, but they have a bit of a stark difference as far as in the tone. So the overall tone. So I'm going to use this one primarily today. And if I have to mix a little bit of this one in, I will. But most days, this is the one that I go with. Also, another thing that Dior does with some of their foundations, this one, and I want to say also the Dior Forever foundation, is that it has color shifting technology in it that allows or makes it so that when you apply this to your skin, if it's not the perfect match, it will self-adjust to match perfectly to your complexion. And I just think that all foundations need to have that nowadays. it's really hard to match yourself in a beauty store like Sephora or Ulta or somewhere like that because the lighting is not that great. I'm not sure if that's by design or not, but the lighting is usually not really great in these stores. So I went with the one that matched me best, and I bought this a couple of months ago. So I'm going to go in with a little bit of this now in the shade 4 Warm Olive. And I'm going to take a brush that wouldn't conventionally be used for foundation, but I'm going to use it for foundation. And this is a powder brush. But because I underpainted, I want to go on a brush that's a bit fluffy because I want to provide a light veil of the foundation over my skin. So I'm going to go in on the back of my hand, and you'll see this is going to apply the sheerest amount of coverage of this foundation to my face. So I'm going to start in the center of my face, and then I'm going to work my way around. You see how that tones down this side? I kind of can just like buff it in, and it just looks so natural. Because remember, with underpainting, a lot of the work gets done through the concealing process. So you don't have to necessarily apply a ton of foundation. It's really just to kind of even out and connect the places that you did not apply makeup, and to blend it out a bit more. But it's not really for the coverage. It's just for the evenness of what you're doing. So even on my forehead, I'm not going to go all the way over. I'm just going to kind of connect it between where I highlighted and where I contoured. Oh yeah, that looks so beautiful. I'm going with a little bit of this brush just to kind of correct a little bit of the boo-boo that I did. Now that I've got my foundation applied all over, we can go ahead and begin to set our face. To set my makeup, I'm going to go in with one of these little puffs. This one is from Amazon. I love these to set my makeup because number one, I make sure that I always get a smooth application of powder. And number two, I can build the amount of powder in layers if I want to. I don't have to go in with a whole lot and risk it looking cakey. This allows me to kind of control how much powder I'm using in the finish of it as well. So I'm going to go in with this puff right here, and I'm using the Sephora Micro Smooth Powder. I love this one as well. This is the Multitasking Baked Face Powder in shade Beige. So I'm going to go underneath my eye, one swipe. I tap off the excess, and then I just press. Now this is the trick for if you don't want your under eye to crease. You want to make sure, number one, that any creasing that has already occurred from it naturally settling into your fine lines is already blended out and removed. And then you're going to take your puff and you're going to press the powder in those areas. So that'll provide a very beautiful, smooth result. And then it'll also lock in the concealer and the product that you've placed in that area. So it gives a nice, really pretty airbrush look. I'm gonna do the same on the other side. Make sure that the creasing is gone. And I'm just gonna press right up underneath my eye. Bam. I don't really like a lot of powder under my eye. That is just me personally. I don't bake on myself that often unless I'm going super glam. If it's a everyday kind of look, which I feel as a latte makeup is, I don't like to bake because I just don't like a heavy appearance underneath my eye. The concealer and just this 1 or 2 layers of powder is enough. And next what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with a warmer shade under my eye, and I'm just going to kind of softly brush that over to kind of tone down a little bit of the brightness and make it appear a bit more natural. Yes, gorgeous. Okay, so now I'm going to take the Sephora Micro Smooth Powder in shade 35 Bronze, and I'm going to kind of start to use this to just blend and set over the areas that I've applied foundation, just to begin blending and smoothing my complexion for a more airbrushed kind of look. Now I'm going to go in with one more layer of powder under my eye. So this would equal 2 layers, just for a bit more coverage and a little bit more pop. I love these puffs as well. They're very, very soft and they look Really, really great on the skin. And I also want to conceal my little blemish, a little bit around my mouth. And then that's it for setting the face. Now we're going to go in with the bronzer, and we're going to warm and sculpt and begin to work on the eyes, set the eyes. Use a little bit of concealer to our lips, and then we'll be finished. So I'm going to go in with the Fenty Beauty Caramel Cutie Sun Stalk'r bronzer. I absolutely love this bronzer, as you can tell. It's just the perfect shade, and I feel as though like they did a really great job with making this formula. Most bronzers tend to be a bit splotchy when you apply them. This one I don't have that issue with. So I have about 3 of these because I always want to make sure I have my shade in stock. I can actually wear multiple shades in this. I also have worn Bahan Gal, I believe that's the name of it. There's another one that I've worn from them, but I really, really love this. And I'm just gonna buff this into the areas where I applied contour to get that really nice warm complexion. Wow, that looks so smooth. Ah, yes. As you see, I'm using like a light buffing motion, and this is just a contour brush by Smith Brushes. You can use any kind of contour brush. You can use an angled one. You can use this is an example of an angled one. And that one is by Elaine Bardo. You can use a regular blush brush if you'd like. It's just your preference. This is just one of my favorite brushes. So, oh yes. See, because there's no blush in this look, I want to make sure that we really pop the cheeks out. And if you ever feel like you just applied a little too much, I like to take my little foundation brush and just kind of blot over those areas. One, to make sure that they're blended nicely, but also to just kind of tone down any areas where I may have applied too much. Yes, that looks really, really good. Okay. Loving. Apply a little more of this area. Okay, so now we're going to go in with the eyes. And I'm also using a eyeshadow blending brush by Smith Cosmetics as well. This is number 232. And I'm going to use the same exact bronzer for my eyes. And we already laid down our base with the Makeup by Mario soft sculpting stick. So I'm just going to go over it and lightly blend a little bit of bronzer. You see the difference, right? Like if I had to just use a regular primer or a concealer, it would have ended up actually looking like this and not like this had I put powder on top of that. Because anytime you go on with something lighter and you put something darker on top of it, it kind of cancels one another out. So anytime I'm doing like something that's remotely kind of smoky, or I just want the eye to pop a little bit more, I try to find a primer that is as close to the shade that I'm going to be using as possible. I love this. This is so good for like every day. I'm just going to take a little down the sides of my nose, take my brush. Okay, and now we're going to go underneath the eyes. I'm going to use another Smith brush. And this one is number 253. It is just a little eyeshadow brush, and I'm going to go in with the Fenty bronzer again as well to blend underneath the eyes. Honestly, this is like my everyday makeup look, if I'm being completely real. I love the fact that it has a really cool name, but this is how I would typically wear my makeup every single day, depending on what I have going on. It's just my go-to for going out with my friends, going out with my husband, hanging out with him. You can pop lashes on if you want to. I'm not going to for the sake of this video because I want it to be more wearable and every day. But yeah, you can wear this any time of the year. It just looks really good. You can switch out the lips if you want more of a pop of color, like these tones. Finding the right shade of brown that works for you is key. I like more warm tones on my eyes and on my skin just because that's just what works best for my undertone. So I am going to go in with a little bit of a darker brown, and I believe I'm going to use this one right here. This one is by Makeup by Mario. It is his Master Eyeshadow Palette, the Master Mattes Palette. And I'm just going to use a little bit under the eye to smoke it out a little bit more, just for a slightly more dramatic effect. This is like one of the things I like to do, especially if I'm not wearing lashes, is to give my eye a bit more contour and a bit more shape, because Lashes really help to define your eye and make them stand out. So if you're not wearing them, I like to smoke a little bit along my lash line just so that when I put mascara on, it pops a little bit more. So as you see, that made my eye pop out a little bit more with me applying a bit more of a smokier brown here versus like how here you can't really tell. You can't really see my lashes as much, but here it's darkening them a bit more. So, and this is also just to give it a little bit more dimension and a little more, something a little different. So that way it's not just one wash of color. You can amplify this even more if you want by taking a black eyeliner, pencil eyeliner, smudging it out, and then you'll have a much more smokier latte look. Maybe that'll be like mocha latte, possibly. I feel like that's slightly what I'm trying to give is like mocha latte makeup look is like, you know, it's a little bit of chocolate going on. It's still really beautiful, warm brown tones. Oh yeah, see that? Look at that. Look at my eyes. I don't even have on mascara. I haven't even finished them, but they look beautiful. I love how this is turning out so far. Okay, so next thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take the same exact brush. Just wipe a little bit off the back of my hand. No big deal. This is a palette by I'm Not Sure, Touch and Soul Pretty Filter Glowdient Makeup Palette. And it's meant to be like a gradient type of highlighting palette. And I absolutely love this. I got it in PR and I use it all the time, but I'm just gonna use a little bit of this tone right here to pop into the center of my eye, just to make it pop out a little bit in my tear duct. Oh, that's so pretty. Some inspiration that I found for latte makeup had this and some didn't. This is also something that back when I was doing my makeup a lot, when I was first starting out and I was looking at MAC, I would do this all the time because it just automatically made your makeup look like, huh, that's nice, to, oh, that's cute. Like, this is one of my like go-to little tricks, is to always put a little bit of a shimmer in my tear duct versus all over my lid. It's quick and it just makes it look really, really pretty. Okay, so next what we're gonna do is a little bit of mascara. And today I am using the Bad Gal Bang Lash by Benefit. It's just a little sample size. I really like this mascara a lot. It's really good for lengthening. And I don't always want a lot of volume, but sometimes I just want a little bit of length. So I'm just gonna go in and wiggle this on my lashes. It has a really nice rubber brush. I just prefer like more of a bristle style, like a hair bristle style, but this one has a really nice rubber brush, and I do like it pretty for the most part because it's really fun and I can get into the nooks and crannies of my lashes if need be. Another reason why I love this mascara is because I can apply layers upon layers of it and my eye will not look clumpy. The lashes won't look clumpy at all. So I really do like it for that reason. Oh, that's so pretty. This is such a great everyday look. So you see what I mean with applying the smokier color of eyeshadow? It just makes the eyes look a little bit warmer, a bit more sultry, and I absolutely love that. Mascara is the GOAT. The times I've done my face and forgot to put on mascara, I have been so sad. It just makes all the difference in the world. Okay, so we've got that on. The eye is complete. You can go in with a shimmery bronze tone if you want, just to kind of pop it out a little bit more. But for me personally, I just would stop here. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to seal my brows. And this is the Maybelline New York Brow Drama Sculpting Brow Mascara. And it's in the shade Auburn. I like doing this because you see I have a little bit of color in my hair. And I just want a bit more of a reddish tone or tint to my brow. When I applied with the Slim Pencil, I used shade Medium Brown, and this one is in shade Auburn. So it's a bit more red, as you can see. It has a bit more of a red tone, and I don't use much, just a little bit to kind of make my brows like a bit softer. So this one, I'm just going to use it to also set my brow with. And I just do like a light little wash over it and to set my hair in place. So I'm not sure if you can really see, but you see the little flickers of red in there compared to this side. It just helps to seal my brow and soften it a bit more. This is an optional thing. You can always use just clear brow gel to set your brows. I just like to use a tinted one because I have a bit of color in my hair. If I didn't have color in my hair, I would opt for a clear one as well. Okay, so last two things we're gonna do is going with a little bit of a shimmer highlight to give our skin a little bit of glow. And then we're gonna do the lips, and then this latte makeup look will be complete. So instead of going in with my normal tones that I would use, which would be the rose gold one or the champagne pop, I'm gonna go in with these two because they're gonna really enhance the latte effect, if you will. So I'm gonna go in with this brush right here, but I'm gonna go in with this color first. Tap a little bit of it off. And this palette is by Becca. Unfortunately, Becca is no longer in business. RIP Becca. That makes me so sad. They were a great line. Like, I have quite a few of their products that I don't use this palette all the time anymore because I'm like, I will literally never see it again. But this shade on the back of here is shade Truffle. Put a little bit of this on the tips of my cheek just to, oh, that's so good. And I feel like with this look, I can really play it up because we want it to really look nice and bronzy. Oh, that's so pretty. Oh my gosh. Ah, gorgeous. And then down the center of my face, I'm going to use this one right here. And this one is in the shade Caramel. Just going to use a little bit on my nose. So now it's giving cinnamon latte. Clearly, now it's giving cinnamon latte. A little bit above the lip, a little on the chin. Back with the foundation brush, just blend everything together. Seamless look. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I'm kind of feeling myself. I'm not even gonna lie. I know I'm gonna really be feeling myself once I get this lip on. So I'm gonna use two products that I really, really love, my go-tos. And they are the NYX lip pencil in the shade Auburn, Honey Love lipstick by MAC, and Maybelline Butter Gloss by NYX as well. And this is my go-to lip combo. And I really love it because it's really warm and soft, but still really natural. But I love a nice brow liner. So this one is in the shade Auburn by NYX. Okay. Okay, so now that I have my lips lined, I'm just going to go on with a little bit of lipstick. And this is in the shade Honey Love. It is a soft pink lipstick. And it's matte. You can wear it matte if you like, but I'm going to go over it with a little bit of gloss. Most latte makeup looks that I've seen as inspiration just had a really soft pink lip with no liner, but I just love to line my lips. I just feel like the definition just makes such a big difference. So that's why I prefer to line my lips when I'm doing a nude lip. So this is in the shade Maybelline. It's Butter Gloss. That is the finished look. You can opt for setting spray if you want to, but me personally, I don't think this look needs setting spray. If you want to, you can apply it just to get a bit more longevity in your look. However, it's going to settle naturally and beautifully on its own. And that's one of the other benefits that I love about the Dior foundation is that you don't need to set it with setting spray. You don't need to set it with powder. It dries out on its own beautifully. It lasts all day, all day long. And it's very, very hot where I live and humid. And I wear this and I get compliments on it all day long. I wore it to a wedding in the middle of July and it was scorching hot outside. And I got so many compliments on how beautiful my skin looked because after about an hour, this foundation looks even more incredible than when you first apply it. And I'm not sure if you guys can really notice, but the self-adjusting technology is already kind of taking place on my face. When I first applied it, it was a little bit lighter around here. But as you can see, it's adjusted quite nicely. So this is the final look. I think it's gorgeous. What do you guys think? Let us know what else you want to see with Glamour and Glow. I would love to give you guys more tutorials and more pointers. Let me know if there's any products you guys would like for me to review and to talk about and to test out for you guys so that you can know before you go and shop and buy something if it's worth your while. Again, my name is Ashley Gray and it's been real. Love you guys. Till next time.